I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions about my books and about writing. And the first question that I got was how to get out of a writing slump now. This also might be a bit of a controversial opinion, but with my dystopian book, I got into the biggest writing slump I've ever been in with it. Oh my gosh, there's a bug on my. Okay, sorry about that. There was bugs outside. Ugh, I hate bugs. But basically, I got into the biggest writing slump ever because I had been working on it for a while and I really did not make a plan before I started this book. I just had an idea for like one scene and then basically just started writing the whole book. And I feel like I'm like 100% sure a lot of you can relate to that. You have an idea for like one scene of it and then you're like, well, now I gotta write the rest of the book. Crap. But I think I really needed to have a plan, and I still don't have a plan for it. I'm still kind of just going with the flow. But it was really hard because there were so many plot holes since I didn't have a plan for where I wanted the book to go. So I got in a big writing slump, right? And the way that I got out of it, and the most effective way that I have found to get out of a writing slump, is to put it down. Maybe that is the exact opposite answer that you guys were expecting, but put it down. Put it down, please. Just give your brain a break. Especially if you're in a writing slump where it's like you're just so frustrated with yourself. That is like, no, just stop getting frustrated. Just put it down. Just put it down. Just put it down. And it was easier for me to do this because I write my books on my school issued computer. So in the summer, I don't have my computer to write my books. So essentially, either I have to write it on our family computer or I have to write it on my phone. And writing on my phone is not ideal. So essentially, when I it was last summer when I was really in this writing slump. I mean, I got my computer taken away and I did not write on my dystopian book for 6 whole months. I know, that's a long time. But then in fall, so like I think October probably, I was like, I had already started on my fantasy book and I was really into that one. And then I was like, you know what? I should pick up my dystopian one again and just reread it again. And so I reread it again. And I remember when I picked it up and started rereading it, I was like, wow, this really is not as bad as I thought it was. Like I was overreacting. And like the thing was, I had put it down for so long that now I read it and I had so many plot ideas and I had so many good ideas and I was like so invested in the plot now that I wrote like 6 chapters in like the span of a month. So, and not saying that will happen for everybody, but I do think that one of the most effective ways to get out of a writing slump is to just put it down, whether that's for a day, whether that's for a week, whether that's literally just for 10 minutes. Just put it down and give your brain a break and just like don't think about it. And you'll see what happens. All right, next. What gives me inspiration to write? Now, this is kind of a hard one because there's so many things that inspire me to write. I love writing about nature because I feel like I love being in nature myself. So I feel like writing about nature, and also I just think writing the stories that I wish I would have had when I was younger or that I wish I could be reading now. Like there's so many good books out there. I have so many books that I enjoy and that I love, but like I see so much as a Christian. I see so many books marketed towards younger teen girls and teen girls in general that have so much spice and smut and cuss words and all this stuff that young Christian girls should probably not be consuming. Now, like, no judgment here, because I have also read some very spicy books and books that have language, and it varies person to person what you will read, but I think there's so many stories that I'm like, I wish I could have read something like this when I was a young teen or when I was a younger girl. And so that's one of the things that I write my stories because I want other people to have stories that I wish I would have had. So, yeah. Another thing that gives me inspiration to write is just like stories and I don't know. Pinterest. Pinterest gives me inspiration to write, let's be honest. I will see a picture on Pinterest and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I have an idea for an entire book now." But yeah, I think there's so much that gives me inspiration. But yeah, let me know what gives you guys inspiration to write in the comments down below, please. Now, I've already talked about this one a little bit, but the question that I got was what gives you motivation to write? And I feel like what motivates me to write. I kind of, just covered what inspires me to write, but what makes me actually write it? Like, yes, I had the inspiration, but what makes me actually do it? Probably just because I like writing. It's also just something to take up my time. Like, if I have free time, it's something that I can do in my free time. Like at school, since like I said, I already write it on my school computer. So like it's just something that I can do at school if I don't have anything else to do. Instead of, just picking up my phone and scrolling, I can work on writing my book instead of doing that. Or yeah, I mean just so many things, but yeah, mostly just as something else to do, something creative that I can do with my brain and like that works my brain. And another thing that gives me motivation to write, making edits. And how do I keep my motivation to write? Making edits of my characters and making playlists for my characters and I don't know, just fun stuff like that and making picture boards for my characters definitely gives me motivation. Right, moving on to some questions about the books that I'm writing. I already kind of answered this one with the inspiration part, but what made me want to write my books? Basically, the same thing as inspiration. I wanted to write my books because I wanted something else to do at school and at home. And I wanted to write stories that young girls and teenage girls can enjoy that do not have spice and don't have language because those are the type of books that I try to look for. Now, I will admit, language does not bother me as much as spice does. I will read books that have a little bit of language, like minimal language. Oh my goodness, the bugs. Sorry about this. But I think that, especially spice, I would rather not read spice, not only because I'm a Christian, just because it's my personal preference. I just don't enjoy reading spice. And I mean, no judgment on those who do. Like, you do you. But personally, it is my conviction. I don't like to read spice. So I wanted to write books that girls and guys could enjoy that don't have spice and don't have language, but do still have like a good story and aren't just like boring. So, yeah. Last question I got before I talk a little bit more about just what my books are about and just kind of giving you guys some information about them is, are my books written from a Christian world view? Which I love this question and I was hoping to get this question because I think as a Christian, my whole like drive to write these books, like I said before, was to write books that people who don't like spice and don't like language can read. And so, yes, they are written from a Christian worldview. I don't talk about in either of the books. I don't really talk about other gods, or in the dystopian one there is no magic. Obviously there's like AI and like advanced technology, but there's no magic. In the fantasy one there is a bit of magic, but it's not like spell casting or like Harry Potter type magic, where maybe it's probably not what you would think of when you think of magic. There's a magic like object, but that's the only really magic in the story. So, yeah, I would say they are written from a Christian worldview. Like I said, I don't use language or spice, and the characters and like the romance is trying to model what good and bad relationships can look like and like toxic relationships. So, yeah. I would say yes, they are written from a Christian worldview. They maybe don't specifically come out and say, like, this is a Christian book. There is Christian elements and morals in the books, but yeah. All right, editing me here. I forgot two questions. I'm so sorry. I really should have remembered to check my post before I made the video. But the two questions were, what are the tropes of the books, and are there plot twists? If so, how many? So the tropes for the books, the fantasy, both of them I would say are strangers to lovers. There's a bit of the chosen one trope in the fantasy one, but not like a lot of it. And then as far as plot twists, there are a couple plot twists in both of them. Like I said, I'm working more in the fantasy one. I have more of that developed right now. So as far as the fantasy one goes, that
there are at least 2 plot twists, maybe more, to be determined. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the video.
Now, onto the fantasy book. The premise of the story is basically Gemma's life as queen and some of her struggles as she navigates through her first year ish of royal life. There is romance in it, there is some tension in there is fighting, there's wars, and I think it's a really interesting story. There's conspiracies. And so, essentially, yeah, that is the fantasy story. I know I just name dropped like the main character. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. If you guys have any more questions, please leave them in the comments. I will try my best to answer them. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so, so much. And like I said again, please keep the comments nice and kind. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't comment it because I want my comments to be a safe and nice place. And also, guys, thank you so much for 200 subscribers. I'm so that's crazy. Like that's insane. Maybe we will get to 300 before the end of the year. My whole goal for 2026 was to get to 200 subs, and we're already there by March. So I'm so thankful for every single one of you. Thank you if you even liked, commented, watched any of my videos. Thank you for anything. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. I love you guys so much, and God loves you more. Bye.